And we're back. The much awaited return. Negative Ball Knowledge comes back to finish ranking every team in the World Cup 2026. We're going to pick up with Algeria at 21. Let's go, Rafael.
How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. Algeria.
So we are a few games deep in the World Cup, just so everybody knows. So we might talk about some things that already happened at the World Cup. We are right now just after the game of Egypt and Belgium. And we go back with Algeria, which we also disagreed a lot. It's one of the countries we had the biggest disagreement.
Yeah, you had them at 26, I had them at 14. I'm trying to remember the reasons. I like their starting lineup a lot. I think every single player they have is from their European leagues. I think all of them are actually French. They were born in France, I think. That's not the reason. The reason is more, of course, the fact that they play in European leagues. I also like the way they played in AFCON. They played really well in AFCON. They got unlucky against Nigeria. That game was end-to-end. I know they lost, but it was a competitive game against probably talent-wise, maybe after Morocco, the most talent in Africa in Nigeria. Very unfortunate to reach the World Cup, obviously. Ryan Ait-Nouri, he's a great player, obviously City player on the left. Then they have Mahrez on the right. You think he's a bit past it? I still think he's really good.
He is.
He's past it, but he's so good because technically that technique never left him. And the other reason I like this team is the combination of Ait-Nouri and Amora on the left side, left flank, and the fact that they have someone, a focal point in attack, Gouiri. A lot of teams in this World Cup, a lot of teams in this day and age don't have strikers. They just play either with a false nine, a second striker, a shadow striker. They kind of have a semblance of a focal point, and I think it's going to give them a good basis. And the fact they're tactically and technically very secure.
Yeah, I didn't rate them so highly because, one, I don't trust their goalkeepers. I don't think they have a lot of a guy that inspires confidence in goal. And in such a short tournament, I also think their squad is a little bit thin. When you look outside the starting 11, in defense, I don't think it's a very good starting 11 at all. Besides Ait-Nouri, I think their center-back pairing is not that good. And after Gouiri, Mahrez, Aouar, Jaib, all these guys, this squad is very deep. So, especially now, since COVID, we have 5 substitutions. I think deeper teams will have a good time against Algeria in the second half after they put quality players into the game and Algeria cannot replicate it. So that's why I didn't give them such a high ranking.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's pretty fair. They're not. It's just the only thing I can say is the performance that they gave. Almost the opposite case of Tunisia. Remember what we said about Tunisia? We said the vibes aren't great. They have better vibes, and I think the technical level is higher with Algeria. It's much higher. So
yeah.
That's the only reason I have them. I think I put them a bit too high, honestly. If they can. What
do you think about Petkovic?
Yeah, he's
their coach.
He's a really good manager. He's proven he has a really good track record with them. 35 games, he's won 23. He's only lost 4. Previously, he was at Bordeaux. Obviously, he did really well with Switzerland. He did very well with Switzerland. And before that,
but his last Bordeaux job was terrible, and he went 2 years without a job.
Yeah.
Right? He was fired from Bordeaux in 22, and he picked up Algeria in 24, both in February. So I don't think he forgot much, but he's also a little bit.
He's more of he's an international manager. Like I think before Switzerland, he was at Lazio, and he had a 47% win rate at Lazio. But if I remember that Lazio side, it was just like it was a combative type. Most of his teams are like that, combative, attritional. That's the way I would describe his sides. But in general, the way he coaches fits the national stage, the international stage.
Yes. What do you think would be a good season for a good World Cup for him?
For Algeria,
Quarterfinals?
I think quarterfinals is their goal. I think it should be their goal. It would be interesting when we do our predictions videos, because we're gonna have the brackets and see how things fall into place. But I think that should be their goal.
Okay, that's right. Talking about the prediction video, I'm glad we didn't do it before the World Cup, because I had Paraguay in the quarterfinals. So I'm just glad that embarrassment's not gonna be recorded.
I mean, we're gonna talk about it. We have to talk about all those things.
Yeah.
I think we can move on from Algeria now. 20 Ivory Coast. I love this team.
Who played a great game against Ecuador yesterday. It was a very good game.
They played
both teams.
Yeah, they played a really good game against Ecuador. This team, again, AFCON, they played really well. I think a problem with these teams that have players that play in Europe, when they play in AFCON, the pitches really are a big detriment to them. They're a detriment to how fast they can play. And Ivory Coast can play extremely fast. Yan Diomande on one side, the midfield is so combative and strong. And they played with Pepe, by the way, in that game against Ecuador. He didn't play in the qualifications. He played very little in the qualifications. He played a bit in the friendlies leading up to it. So it was a very surprise decision. But again, I think it's because of the quality of the pitches. Pepe, he was okay with Villarreal, but in a situation where the pitches are good, you can give him the ball and he can maybe do something or get on the end of something. He'd be a good player, technically secure. He didn't play great, but the idea behind it was good. And then obviously Amad Diallo comes off the bench and scores that really good goal with the finish. They're a really good side.
Beautiful.
Especially Yan Diomande. This guy is going to be a really, really good player. He dribbled past 7 guys, I think. 7 dribbles in that Ecuador game. And Ecuadorian defenders are the best. Like, looking at what they did in the season, Pacho, Hincapie, Caicedo. All these guys are really good defensively, and every single one of them, I think, came up against him once in the match. And especially Hincapie in the first half, he rinsed Hincapie. He just kept on going, attacking him, and he kept on going by him. So I think he's a really exciting player, and I think the team is very good.
I was very impressed with him. I had him watch him, and he reminded me a lot of Doku, Vini Jr. type player. Very electric. I thought he was missing a little bit in the final movement, the final shot, final pass, but that's to be expected. He's only 19, but he was getting past everyone. And this is not the prime Ivory Coast, but it's still a very good team all around. I think only the midfield. Kessier, he's at Al Ali, and he was a little underwhelming after leaving Milan. He spent, I think, a season or 2 in Barcelona, and also wasn't that good. Fofana is in Porto, but I don't rate him that highly. I think their only issue is midfield, because defensively they're good. Attacking, they are amazing. Adingra is a great player for Sunderland. Boni for Inter Milan. We have Amad Diallo on the bench. Nicolas Pepe is very experienced. I know you Arsenal fans don't have a great memory of him, but I think it's mostly for the...
No, I like him.
Yeah, but the problem was mostly his price tag. Was never his...
That was because there was corruption. There was some weird corruption surrounding the deal.
He was just too expensive, but it was not that he was terrible.
If you compare him...
So I'm excited.
If you compare him to... what's his name? Brazilian guy, United. From
Anthony?
Yeah, if you compare him to Anthony, he got so many more assists and goals. And I think he's a little bit less priced than Anthony. but he's fine. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. The midfield, the one thing I would say is Ibrahim Sangare. He's really good. He's super physical.
Mhm.
He's tall. He had, I would say, a pretty good campaign with Nottingham Forest, and he plays well for Ivory Coast. And Jean-Michel Siri, again, he's very experienced. He played in the Premier League, and I think now he's playing in
Maribor.
Maribor, yeah, exactly.
Moldavia?
Yeah, I think so. Where's Maribor? Let me just check quickly.
Slovenia.
Yeah. So yeah, he's over here. That doesn't matter. He has the experience. He's a tidy player. So, but yeah, just
and they didn't concede a single goal during qualifying, and also as of now during the World Cup, even though just one game.
Let's talk about
good
the defenders.
Defense, I think, go a long way in the World Cup.
Their defenders, Osman Diamande for Sporting. A lot of big teams.
Very good player.
A lot of big teams want him. He's only 22 years old. He's so good, incredibly good physically, incredibly good in the air, and he's very good, comfortable with the ball as well. Moving on, we have guys like Agbadou for Besiktas. He plays for Evan Ndika for Roma. Again, a really good player. I mean, their defense.
Wilfred Singo in Galatasaray, who started that match.
Yeah.
Also very solid.
Their defense is super physical and they're good on the ball. Again, that's the thing I really liked against in Ecuador. They kind of they were confident with the ball and they moved out of the tough situations pretty easily, and that allowed their defense to allowed their attack to kind of go on with that freedom against Ecuador. So yeah, I really like them. I really like them.
Yeah.
Okay. That was Ivory Coast. We can move on now to Turkiye. Who
rough start.
Very rough start for Turkiye. That match was so horrible. Let's forget the match for a little bit and just talk about the squad and maybe why we had them in these positions. You had them obviously higher than me. What I'd say, the things I like about Turkey is a star quality that I don't think a lot of other teams have. Obviously, Arda Güler, really good, really good technically. His problem is his physicality. It was bad in La Liga. When you see a player like his team tries to hide him physically in La Liga, you know there's a problem. And he does get bullied a lot. And I think he got bullied in that game. You kind of saw that. Kenan Yildiz, I think he's injured.
Yeah. He got on, I think, in the second half.
Yeah.
That game was at 1 a.m. for me, so I slept like the halftime. I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, I only watched like a very extended highlight. But Kenan Yildiz, he's a very good player. Again, he's coming back from injury. I don't know how much he can do. And then Hakan Çalhanoğlu, the elder statesman. This guy.
I'm a huge fan of him.
Yeah.
Huge.
But again, the problems with the physicality are like, it's a theme with this side. All these guys and other guys as well. Ferdi Kadayoglu, who's a really good player that I highlighted here. Again, physically, really not that good. They're defenders, obviously, they're the best physical point of the team. But outside of that, they really lack physically. And I think against teams that are going to be physically imposing, they're going to really struggle. And we saw that against Australia.
Yeah. That first goal by Australia, I was very surprised because just nobody could stop the what's his name? Iran Kadu, the Australian player that scored the first goal.
Oh yeah,
nobody could keep up with him. Iran Kunda. Nobody could keep up with him on speed or physically wise. And he wasn't that good of a player, technically. He made a lot of mistakes. The ball ran away from him when his first touch, and still nobody could keep up with him. So I was very disappointed in the first game by Turkey. I thought it was a very deserving result for Australia. Turkey didn't do much. Both Çalhanoğlu and Güler, as you mentioned, because of their physicality, they were playing very far away from goal because it's where they could get the ball. And they tried long passes and everything, but they couldn't get close to the goal. And with the ball or without it. So I was very, very disappointed. I expected more from them. As you see, I ranked them very highly, especially by the star power, as you said, of Güler and Çalhanoğlu. I'm a huge Çalhanoğlu fan. I know he has his issues, but I love him as a deep line playmaker. I love him on free kicks, on corners. So they have to bounce back. It's not an easy group. They already lost a game. The game against USA will be a very hard match.
They're gonna get eaten alive against USA. It's gonna be a bloodbath.
Luckily for them, a third place team will go through.
Yeah.
So I think that's our hope. Maybe draw USA, beat Paraguay, which I also rank very highly. I regret it. But that's I think their main goal is to go on as a third place team. Because what they show against what's supposed to be the weaker team in the group, and they got destroyed, it was not a lucky 2-0, it was a very deserving 2-0. It's going to be rough.
Did you see
rough game.
Arda Güler before the game? He said, "Come on, guys, we should beat these guys."
But he's right.
He's right, but they didn't play well enough. Maybe that's the mentality.
Yeah, but
maybe they thought they should beat them, which is not right to think that. I mean, like, mentally, you should not think you should beat someone. You should want to beat them always. When it should, everything becomes more complacent. You know?
Yeah. But he is also. I think when Turkey faces Australia, I don't think that should be the problem. I think they have much deeper problem than just thinking we should beat this guy, because they really should. It's a better team 1 through 11.
Vincenzo Montella, or Montella, I don't know how exact pronunciation. Obviously, great player in this time. I loved him. I loved Vincenzo Montella. Oh my God, as a striker. But as a coach, I think he bounced around a lot. It's almost like this. He's like a iconic streets won't forget type coach. I can't even describe the type of coach. You know what I mean? You see him popping up in these different jobs. He has attacking teams. There's always an interesting team that he's coaching, and possibly this is his biggest job. Possibly, I mean, Fiorentina, Sevilla, AC Milan. Yeah, he managed Milan, but in the dog days of Milan, you know. Dog days. Of course, that's going to be a bigger job. But
are we still the dog days of Milan? The dog days over?
the dog days were over one day.
I think we're still the dog days. They just appointed Ruben Amorim. I think the dog days got a.
They're coming back. Extension on the dog days. I thought,
but he got famous for the job at Fiorentina. At Fiorentina, he did very good, and he's been riding that high since. He managed Demisport before going to Turkey, so he was already in Turkish land, let's say.
His personality fits Turkish football. He's very, very emotionally invested. He's an emotional guy.
And what you said about lacking a striker, most team lacks a striker. This is a team that lacks a striker. This is a team that desperately wants someone at number 9. Yeah. And you could see that in the game. They were playing. I don't remember who started as a striker, but he's like 173 meters tall. I don't remember if it was Danny Gould or Aktürkoğlu, but he didn't do anything against Australian defense. They couldn't do any link up plays. They couldn't do crosses. They couldn't do anything. He was too small, too weak to fight Australian defender. So this is a team that I think the biggest hole is a number 9. Who's going to lead the attack? Yeah,
it was Aktürkoğlu. And yeah, obviously Turkey has a great lineage. I mean, Hakan Şükür, Metin Akte, a lot of really great strikers. And maybe even not Burak Yılmaz recently as well. And even if not strikers, they have like goal scorers. Like maybe you consider Arda Turan a bit of a, sometimes he'd cut inside and shoot something. That type of presence. I don't think they have that in the squad. They're lacking goal scorers. Yeah, lacking goal scorers there. But I think we can move on from Turkey.
Okay.
What do we have next? Ooh, USA.
Oh. They should be ranked higher by that first game. If they ride the wave of they destroyed Paraguay.
Yeah.
The game was over by halftime.
I like this team. That's why I had them 16. I just like the team, the players. I really like these players. Obviously, there's a mistake in the graphic. It's not Greg Berhalter anymore. It's Pochettino. But and Pochettino is part of the thinking of why I like this team. Starting off, I begin with, I believe it was last year, or was it the year before, where they played an international tournament. They were very disappointing. It was the CONCACAF, or it was the Gold Cup. They played really lethargic in that tournament, and they looked like they didn't care. And that was a big problem with USA for a long time. They look like they don't care. They're good. This generation, which is like a mirroring of the old teams. If you remember the old teams, like 2006 and stuff like that, they cared too much and they really sucked. They were bad. This team is good and they don't care. Pochettino managed to do something in this past year or into the build-up of this World Cup. Even like watching the friendlies, there's that Pochettino way of playing, intense, not giving the opponent any time to breathe, really fast, quick transitions. I mean, that's the way they beat Paraguay, and that's the way I think like the best version of America under Pochettino.
Yes.
Moving onto the players really quickly, I'll just mention a couple of players that I really like. Tyler Adams. I don't know why people don't talk about him more. He's really good technically. He has injuries. He obviously plays for Leeds, and he's really good for Leeds as well. But again, in an international tournament, when you have a guy this sort of, he has a high motor, he breaks up a lot of attacks from the other team. He picks up the ball and he moves it. He's really good, technically secure. Weston McKennie was so good in that game. Again, that's the perfect way you want Weston McKennie to play, right? Like an advanced 8, can get the ball, move it to the strikers, and he makes like those extra runs into the box. Malik Tillman, amazing technically, really, really good technical player. And then the cherry on top, Captain America, the LeBron of football.
The LeBron James of football.
The LeBron James of football.
He was unbelievable.
He was and that's the version of Pulisic you want. You want him always attacking the box from that angle. You don't want him to be a winger. You don't want him to be a striker. Inside forward, just always that angle, always attacking. He's really, really good.
Yeah, he got off the game at halftime.
Yeah, because they know they're going to win.
Something. Yeah, I was looking to see right now if there are any news of injuries. Nothing. It was just a precaution. Yeah. But he was at the start of the game, he was just running through battle. It wasn't another level. Balogun as well was crazy good. We talk about physicality. If you put Balogun on the Turkish team improves by so much just by having a guy like him. So he was crazy good. And talking about Gold Cup, they almost lost to Costa Rica. They only got through Costa Rica on penalties. They beat Guatemala 2-1, which they should be beating Guatemala by much more than that. And they lost the final to Mexico. But yeah, if Pochettino gets this group to care, and they look like they do, this is a very dangerous group. And I think that first game shows it. I think right now they're the favorite to go through as first in this group. And if they play like they played against Paraguay, they're going to beat Australia and they're going to beat them. And I don't think they're a team you want to face in the next round.
Valorant Balogun, ex-Arsenal's, I think one of their biggest ever sales because he came straight from the academy. I don't think he played. I can't remember if he played.
I
the
think he
League
played
Cup
2
game.
matches.
It must have been like in the League Cup or something like that, nothing.
Yeah.
And then straight off to Monaco, where he had a good start, bad middle, and picked up again. Again, he's really good. When he's sharp, he's super sharp, and he has a lot of good qualities. His physicality, and he gets his shot off really quickly. It's not always the best shot, but he gets it off really quickly, which is good. Which is just a good instinct to have as a striker. So yeah, great.
Yeah, he just for the stats, he made his debut in the Europa League against Dundalk.
Okay, yeah.
From Ireland.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, good team. Anthony Robinson. Anthony Robinson is a really good player. He's a really good player.
And Pochettino, if we remember right, he managed Tottenham, and he went a season and a half without a signing.
Yeah.
In the age of every Premier League team spending a country's GDP on signings, and he was just cruising through the same group of players. I think it was a season and a half.
Yeah.
And he got them to a Champions League final, title challenger. He's a little bit. They make fun of him because he didn't win anything with Son and Kane at the team.
No.
But also, I think he did his best with that squad and also with the Spurs management at the time. I think the faults of the squad is because Spurs didn't press hard enough with what they had. They took Kane, Son, and Pochettino for granted, and they didn't reach the next level like Arsenal did with Arteta, City of Guardiola, and all that. But he's an extremely good coach.
Yeah. Espanyol, Southampton, Spurs, PSG, obviously. But yeah, he's a really good coach.
Yeah, that PSG time is. I think we remember that too fondly.
Yeah.
That was a very hard squad to manage. He was there during the Messi, Mbappe, Neymar time, right?
I don't remember. I can't remember.
I think it was during that.
Isn't
during that time. I wouldn't want to be the manager of that team.
Yeah.
That's way too many personalities. And Chelsea after.
Chelsea as well. One last thing I want to tactically talk about this USA team. I really like the way they put Serginho Dest as a right winger / right midfielder. Exactly covers his deficiencies as a player. He's really bad. He's really bad physically. He's really bad defensively. His positioning always as a right back has always been his worst point, and he's pretty good technically going forward. And he got into a really good rhythm with Weston McKennie and who was playing right back behind him, Miles Robinson, I think, was it? Or no, it was Alex Freeman. It was Alex Freeman, who I think he's a center back.
Tim Ream?
No. Ream was playing as a center back, but Alex Freeman, who plays at Villarreal, he was the tall right back.
Oh yes.
Yeah, he was the tall right back behind him. He had a good understanding behind him. That was a really good tactical adjustment that Pochettino made. Chris Richards, a good defender for Crystal Palace, and he always puts his body in the line. Sometimes I think it's because he doesn't have the best of other things. He's not that fast. He's not that great positionally, but he would always fight for you, and he's really good aerially.
Yeah.
Now, okay, moving on from the USA, Norway.
Holland and friends.
Holland and friends indeed. I think this is a bit ambitious from both of us, but I was like, you know what? Having one of the best strikers, or the best striker in the world, in a tournament where there are no strikers, essentially. It's him and Jokeres that are just like pure number 9s.
Yeah.
And he's so good that's the reason I had them at 15.
He's incredible.
I mean, obviously Odegaard is there, and Sorloth comes off the bench. He has a lot of goals, but
Odegaard physically, can he play the whole World Cup? Because I remember the end of the season at Arsenal, he like he was playing, but you could see he was a little bit dead tired. Like the season took a toll on him.
He's been playing with an injury for 2 years. He's been playing with an injury for 2 years. The season before, he elected not to do a surgery and play through the injury, and then he did the surgery in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And even after doing the surgery, he still hasn't looked the same. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I think, like, what I'm getting from the way, I think he's a bit done, you know? The injury and then playing through the injury, and then he still looks like he's playing through stuff. It looks a bit like he's done. But still, in this level, even though he's done, I still think he can. All you need to do is thread a ball to Haaland. And even while he was done for Arsenal, at pivotal moments in the season, he's actually done that. Newcastle, beginning of the season, he came out for like 10 minutes and he changed the game. End of the season, West Ham, he gave the assist to Trossard. There's a lot more of these little cameos where he did things like that. And I think the World Cup pace is going to help him.
Mm-hmm.
All he needs to do again is thread that ball to Haaland.
And I know talking about Haaland's the most obvious thing talking about Norway, but it's impossible not to talk about.
Yeah.
He's so fast, so tall, so strong. He's hard to get off the ball. He's hard to tackle. You almost have to foul him every time. I think he's a guy that can, in a very tough match, a very defensive heavy match, he can score a goal out of nowhere, just on a long ball. And I think he'll be pivotal for any chances of Norway. I think this group helps. They should beat Senegal. They have to beat Iraq.
It's going to be a hard game.
The game against France is going to be a war. But more than Odegaard, more than Sorloth, more than Nusa, having Haaland play well, and the only criticism we have of Haaland right now in his career is his lack of goal in finals. And the World Cup is basically that. Every game is very intense. It's basically a final. Not to get too cliche here, but we have to see him deliver if Norway was to do anything this World Cup.
Yes. The rest of the team isn't that...
And Nusa as well is a very good player. That's all.
Nusa's good. Apart from that, their defense and midfield, not the greatest. I think they cruised in their qualifying. Very easy qualifying.
Yeah, they averaged 5 goals a game.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, essentially because of Haaland. By the way, this is extremely cliche. I do have them as my dark horse.
Okay.
It seems like everyone has them as a dark horse. My definition of a dark horse is genuinely a team that Netherlands are not a dark horse. I can imagine somehow, some way, because they have world-class players and they've been in the positions where they've reached the World Cup final. I know that's a long time ago, but they're not really a dark horse. But
okay.
A team like Norway,
aren't they the definition of dark horse? Haven't they been the dark horse of World Cup since World Cup?
That's what I'm saying. If you're always a dark horse, it just means you're a really good team. That hasn't pushed through. That's all of it. That's all it means.
Okay.
Norway is not that good. That's the reality. I'm ranking them here just because I think
Haaland.
Yeah, and it's so ironic, by the way, that this team has Haaland, the best striker. They have Sorloth, and they have Strand Larsen. They have 3 strikers. 3 really, not really good, but 3 competent number 9s.
Yeah.
You put Strand
They
Larsen...
should went out to Turkey during the tournament.
Exactly. You give Turkey
But
Strand
to
Larsen.
so many other teams, really. Even to Brazil. Get Igor Thiago off my sides. And it's funny because I play a lot of Football Manager, right? And in so many saves, Norway gets deep in the World Cup. Semi-final. I see Norway win the World Cup in Football Manager many times. So it'll be interesting. I think the biggest question is their goalkeeper, Nyland. He has only played 5 games for Sevilla this season. So in a tournament where the goalkeeper is so important, I keep talking about this. I don't know if having a guy that it's not in rhythm, it's not in club form, will be hard for them. Because as much as Haaland can save you the game in attack, maybe Haaland can give up the game on defense.
Yeah, he used to play in Leipzig, I think. He's tall though, right? Yeah, 192 centimeters. He's experienced. He's 35.
Yeah, this is a very tall team in general. Christopher Ayer is tall. Leo Ostigard is tall.
Typical Vikings.
Haaland, of course. I think this will be a good team in set pieces.
Yeah.
Their goalkeeper worries. That's the biggest worry about this team.
Do you see them reaching the semi-final?
Oh man, I do. It depends on Haaland, dude. I see them going as long as Haaland can get it. I don't think they will win a game in the World Cup where Haaland doesn't score.
Yeah.
That's my hot take. That's my hot take.
Yeah.
Sarloff is a very good player, but I don't see them winning a game if Haaland doesn't score at least one goal. So it will be interesting to see. Again, in Football Manager, I remember a save I had with Brazil very recently that I wanted to play the new format of the World Cup, and I got eliminated by Norway 4-3 in the quarterfinals with Haaland scoring 4 goals. So I think maybe this is my Football Manager brain talking, but I think that's the kind of level of performance he has to reach to drag this team across the World Cup.
Okay. Norway, Holland and friends. Moving on to Belgium. What the hell was I thinking?
Oh man, I really killed Belgium.
you killed them, and I overrated them. I mean, thinking of their squad is, their squad is good. I'm not even thinking of the game we just watched, Egypt against Belgium.
Yeah.
Letting that 8th is not real. I know FIFA has them as 9th as well. FIFA are also smoking the same thing I was smoking when I gave them 8. My initial...
It's also not real. 30 is also not real. It's probably between 8 and 30. Probably 19 is the average. It's probably around there.
I think 19 is correct. My thinking was 2 things. Thibaut Courtois is probably the best goalkeeper in the world. I think Raya is entering... form-wise, Raya has been so good these last 2 years. But he's... it's just maybe one more year and a really good trophy would make him put him in those conversations. But Thibaut Courtois does insane things. We saw him maybe he should have done well with the goal of Imam Ashur, the Egypt's goal, but it was a really strong...
I don't think there's anything he could have done.
It's a really strong shot, it was, I think it reached...
it's
123 kilometers an hour or something. So again, that's number 1 in my thinking. Number 2 is the midfield that's really good technically in Yuri Tillemans, who had a really good campaign for Aston Villa. He was really good. Kevin De Bruyne, I was just imagining that finally, it clicks. I don't know, because a lot of times he seems like he's forcing it in a game for Belgium. Everything seems so forced. Belgium's biggest problem is the way they play is they play like Spain did in 2010, where everything is slow, but they don't have the cutting edge of Spain. David Villa gets...
They don't have a David Villa.
Yeah, David Villa gets half a chance and he scores an insane goal that you're like, wow, how the hell did he get that finish off? They don't have anyone like that. The second thing, the third thing, Thibaut Courtois, Kevin De Bruyne, Jeremy Doku. Jeremy Doku, if you say Haaland's finishing and his speed and that package, Jeremy Doku has that insane first step that no one else has in the World Cup.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a defender not fall for that. These last 2 years where he's been for City, the thing where he goes on top of the air and does this, it's so stupid. It annoys the hell out of me, but it's so effective. And again, I think when you have these like, it's stupid. It sounds like an anime thing. Like you have these unstoppable moves, but he does seem like in certain way he seems a bit unstoppable. Like in this game against Egypt, he was the only reason Belgium were even having an attacking impulse.
But he fails a lot after that.
Yes,
He gets past the first man almost every time. It's a guarantee. But also after that, there's not much. It's frustrating, and it's funny because he plays very well at City. And when I watch City games, I was like, hell yeah, give Doku the ball. I would say Doku have the ball. But as soon as I saw Doku have the ball, I was like, man, give the ball away. You're not doing anything. You're beating the first man, and then you're just not doing anything after that. And I think I rated them so low because I'm so tired of hearing about the Belgian golden generation and they never achieved anything. And this team is just worse than any Belgian golden generation team. Their whole, like, Alderweireld company, Vermaelen, Vertonghen, they're all of the team. And I think their defense this year is one of the worst defense they ever had.
yeah.
I think, besides Courtois, I think Courtois is going to have to do a lot because there's not going to be help in front. Diate, Michel, De Kuyper, they don't maintain the level that the rest of the team maintains. Thomas Meunier is 34. He's not at his prime anymore. Nathan Ngoy, I thought he was terrible today. And maybe it was just jitters, first World Cup match.
I think he's their up and coming really good defender, Ngoy.
Yeah, he was very nervous. He was very, very nervous. But De Bruyne, what worries me about him is also physicality.
Yeah.
He was never the most physical player, and he's now 34. So we have to see. The World Cup is a very physical competition. I think Onana helps a lot in that. I'm a huge fan of Amadou Onana from... Before Aston Villa, he was playing at Everton, I think. And I loved him at Everton. I love this type of midfielders. Tall, strong, fast. I think he's very complete physically. But what worries me is the defense. And Romelu Lukaku, as easily as he can score goals, he can have a stinker of a game. Was it against Croatia where they just needed one goal and Romelu Lukaku had 100 chances last World Cup and he just missed everything?
I don't remember. I remember the game. I don't remember who it was. Croatia sounds right.
I mean, Croatia sounds right, but it was so annoying, and I'm a huge fan of Lukaku. But
remember
I think their defense is...
Remember the final with Inter?
Yeah. He had a shot or a header from his teammate that the ball was going in and just hit him because he was not paying attention. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Lukaku.
And also,
I've always loved him. What's Brom?
It was Croatia.
It was Croatia, yeah.
Last World Cup, they left at group stage with Morocco, Croatia, and Canada. And they needed to beat Croatia the last game, and they drew 0-0. And it was a game you wanted to like punch the screen of like, dude, just score a goal, just put the ball into the net. You had all the chances. So I don't know. I'm not high on Belgium. I'm tired of hearing about Belgium and their golden generation and their star players, and they never do it.
I think 16 is right. I think 16 is right. Yeah. Like, perfect for them. FIFA are idiots. The final thing I want to say, De Bruyne's physical, deterioration. One thing that's not going to help this Belgium team, and I saw it in the game against Egypt, is the heat. They really, really struggle with the heat. Even in normal situations, De Bruyne looks like he's, huffing and puffing in England when it's like 8 degrees, and he becomes red, extremely red. So they're gonna struggle with the heat.
After Napoli, he should go to like Iceland. He would dominate the Iceland Premier League. Not even talk about technical ability. Just he finally played a game where he feels cold, and maybe that will unlock him. And also, I think De Ketelare is very disappointing. I remember he was rated very highly. He's tall, he's technical, but
I hate that. I hate that guy. I've always hated
I don't
him.
know.
I don't
He
get.
didn't score a single goal this season for Atalanta. He played 40 games, not a single goal.
Let me just pop off my hate menu for this guy.
Okay, go ahead.
What's
It's
with
your
his,
podcast.
What's his haircut that his mother? What he's always had this haircut that he looks like his mother made for him. What is that? What the hell is he doing? What the hell is he doing? He always looks like a school kid. Every single time I've ever watched him play in Atalanta, Milan, now it's like that haircut. Then the other thing that I hate about him, he has this, the cold thing. He's so cold. It never feels like he really cares, about the game that he's playing.
Yeah.
Every single time I watch this guy play, it's like he plays at his own pace. I know it's a good thing, by the way. Of course, in certain situations, it's a good thing. But sometimes in a World Cup, you really need to, get emotionally into the game. Contrast that with the Egyptian players, by the way. The complete opposite. How Egyptian players apply themselves and they're so emotionally in it. I feel like, imagine if one of those Egyptian attackers that, other than Mermosh and Salah and Ashur, had his capabilities, because he's kind of good technically. He's good. He's tall.
He's tall. He's very skinny.
That's the wiry. That's football body, being wiry and but imagine if one of them had it. It'd be a great player. He's kind of like a way worse Havertz, honestly. Like the way he plays, the way he approaches.
I see it.
It's very close to how Havertz should be a 10. He plays a 9 because every team needs him to play.
He plays anywhere really. Havertz is very complete player.
Yeah, he's a complete player. But big picture, he's a 10, which is the same thing as the Catalan. But yeah, he frustrates me. I know he's a good player, but he frustrates me. Alexis Telemakers, again, also frustrates me. He's always frustrated me. Trossard, him and Doku are the only attacking chances for them.
Hey, Lukaku, dude, just give the ball up to Lukaku.
Honestly,
when he got into the game today, I was watching it. I obviously know Lukaku. I've been watching Lukaku for years, but it always amazes me how much bigger he is than everybody else. And not tall-wise, but wide. He's just a wide dude. So I don't know why he was on the bench today. I don't know if it was physical. I remember he missed the rest of the season because he was injured.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was coach choice or physical, but I think Lukaku has to start.
So he hasn't been physically ready the past 3 months. He had injuries at Napoli. He then left Napoli and for 3 months at the end of the campaign went to Brussels. And he basically just trained with them just to get into the fitness, the form of the World Cup, basically. And he scored in the friendly, and I think it was one of his first goals in a really, really long time for Belgium. I think he has like 90 goals.
He's our all-time top scorer.
All-time goal scorer.
90 goals.
90 goals. A lot of goals for Belgium in 120-something. It's a great return, by the way. 120-something, 90 goals.
He's amazing.
Yeah, I love.
He almost has as many goals for Belgium as he has teams played in his career.
I love Lukaku.
I love Lukaku.
Who else can we talk about? No one else. I mean, they have interesting players. Look back.
Who's 37 now, playing for Girona, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I miss Fellaini, dude. Since we talk about Belgium, I miss Fellaini. I love Fellaini.
No, hate him. Elbow.
We need McTominay to go in April, so we have Fellaini back.
He loves an elbow.
I just love.
When you play against guys,
I love Fellaini, dude.
You know why I hate Fellaini? Playing against guys who play like Fellaini. You wake up with a bruise on your face every time because he loves using the elbow, and I can feel the pain every time he went up for any challenge. I can feel it on my body. That's the little elbow he used to use. Anyway,
shout out Fellaini, if you're watching, hit me up.
F you Fellaini. Let's move on to Nippon.
Also great game.
A great game. 2022, really great performances as well from Japan. So unfortunate that the biggest point you can say about Japan like now is that they lost Mitoma and they lost
Yes.
Minamino before the World Cup.
Yes.
Two of their best attackers. And it's like a gut punch, honestly. It's a gut punch. Wataru Endo, I had this before they submitted the squads. Endo as well is injured, and he was removed from the squad, and then he retired immediately after being removed from the squad. Again, so unfortunate. I mean, Endo is less so because they have a pretty good competent midfield, but
Yeah.
the good thing about Japan is that they're always so good technically. I mean, it almost feels like a cliche at this point how good technically they are. Take Kubo, I think
Amazing player.
incrementally every season he actually gets better. I do think this season he's reaching his peak in the sense that he's getting the most out of his build as possible. He can't run by a lot of players. He can't really dribble by a lot of players, but he can cleverly buy fouls. And playing in Spain and understanding that and having a really good game IQ makes him that much better of a player. And of course, really good technically, set pieces, through balls, finishing. He's a great technical player. Ritso Duan, who had a really good 2022 World Cup. He played as a winger in the game against the Netherlands, but I think he's probably going to go back into playing that somewhat inside forward, more down the middle in the other games. And Daichi Kamada, I love Daichi Kamada. He's such a good player for Crystal Palace. This team also another one that I think Tomiyasu was trying to get into the squad. I think that would be insane. By the way, he's in. Yeah,
he started
He started against the Netherlands. I
don't know. He started, but he got on. But he played.
Yeah, he's another guy that's injuries, and I think it's a really unfortunate thing that he has something that's a bit an injury that's never gonna go away type thing. So a chronic injury. And one last thing, by the way, amazing thing is Nagatomo is in the squad. So I think he's gonna make there's a record for how many World Cups. I think he might hold the record for an Asian player to appear in World Cups.
Yeah, it's his fifth World Cup.
Yeah, fifth World Cup. Back to the more Sano in midfield. I really like Kaisho Sano. He plays for Mainz. He had a good campaign for Mainz. He's a really good player. Nakamura on the left, very useful player. He's a versatile player as well. Keito Nakamura. He can play left wing back, he can play left back, he can play left midfield, left winger. He can play as a striker as well. He's so versatile, which is a lot of these Japanese players are very versatile because of how good tactically they are and technically as well.
And Nakamura played really well against them.
Yeah,
really
very well. One of the problems that
I think the best part about this Japanese team, and it's always been the best part about Japan, they always play as a unit. The team's always very good tactically. They play together, they play for each other, and it's very hard to beat Japan. And they had the same coach, Moriyasu, since 2018? So it's his third World Cup with Japan. And they are, I think, even with missing Mitoma, I think it doesn't really lowers their chance of doing something this World Cup by that much. Just because how strong the squad is together. I really like this Japanese team. And Zion Suzuki, what do you think about it?
Suzuki, the goalkeeper, he had a really good performance, I think. I think historically he had a clanger in him, earlier on. I think recently though he's cleaned up his goalkeeping. I think he's gotten better. Like he starts for Parma. I mean, I think he's a good goalkeeper. He has good reflexes and he's not afraid of claiming crosses. So, one last thing I want to say about Japan, historically, before the 22 World Cup, they had always had shorter players and they would get out physical, especially in defense. But more recently, a lot of tall players in midfield and in defense, and it's going to help them. And I think so many people are saying this, but it's an actual thing that set pieces are going to be really important this World Cup. They are. And I think they're gonna have.
Yeah, Arsenal showed you can win the Premier League scoring just in set pieces. So.
Exactly, and
football moves in trends, right? When Spain won the World Cup, the year after, everybody wanted to have 80% possession of the ball. So I think I said it jokingly, but with Arsenal doing so well and being so good in set pieces, it sets a trend. So I think we're going to see, especially in this World Cup and moving forward, teams focusing more and more on having good set pieces.
The reason set pieces become more important...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the reason set pieces become more important is because games are more and more competitive. Like, teams are just tactically... The smaller teams are tactically now better. They're way better. Across the board in all leagues. And physically as well, the gap is tightening.
It's very short.
A lot of these players are now getting close athletically to the top teams. Where if you look at 2006, look at the group stage games. Like almost anyone can go back and look at the highlights. You can see a huge gap between a good team and the team that's not gonna do well. A huge gap in everything, tactically, technically. Physically, athletically, so many gaps. Now you put it on like Curacao, first half against Germany. They did not look like they're from another planet. I know in the second half they scored so many goals, but it looked competitive. Cape Verde, it was competitive the entire match with Spain. Again, and that's why set pieces become that more important, because it's essentially you're putting a lot of players near the goal. So it's just you're increasing your chances in a game that's getting really, really close. And in the future, we're going to talk about Arsenal tactically and the Premier League and the way things are. There's more to talk about that. But, that's the reason set pieces are more important.
Yeah, I think also in the past, in the other World Cups, you will see these teams like Cape Verde and Curacao, and they will come in with semi-professional players. And if you look at Curacao now, they're all professionals. If you look at Cape Verde, they're all professionals. And I think the biggest change football has gone through the last 20 years, I think the gap physically between a third-tier player and a Premier League, a first division player is very small. Very, very small. So it's good for the game. It's very good for the game. It just means more people can compete, at least physically.
Good for the game and good for Japan. And after Japan, we have Ecuador in 14th. FIFA has them at 23. After that,
I have them 11.
You have them 11.
I just really like them.
You have them 11th, which I think, what's crazy about this? 11th is you had Algeria, you had Algeria fine. No, most of that team you had, it's still to come. Never mind. You had them 11th. I had them 24. I had them 24 because I think in chance creation, they struggle in chance creation, and I like them. I actually really like this team because I really like Moises Caicedo. I think he's a really good player. I think Hincapié is such a good player. He's so
Hincapié is amazing.
He's so combative and he's so good. He's good technically as well with the ball. He can play a center back. He can play a left back. He's good. Joel Ordóñez, he's gonna be an amazing center back. yeah, my problem with honestly, I love Enner Valencia. Streets won't forget you, Enner Valencia. But
He's amazing.
but I think they might start to to forget you. I mean, I think it's time. It's time. It is a bit of a problem, I think, for Ecuador to have such a really good team, a basis of a good team, and having Enner Valencia, a 36-year-old, a lot of his physical capabilities diminished, and he is their striker. He's the one who should score the goals.
I really like this team. I think Felix Torres is a very good player for Internacional. Incapi, Ordóñez, Pacho, Preciado for Atlético Mineiro. I'm a huge fan of Gonzalo Plata. I think his performance for Flamengo against PSG in the World Cup final, the club final, was unreal. He just reigned. He never tires. He's a very good tactical player. He lacks the final third. He creates a lot but finishes very little. And I think that's the biggest flaw in his game. And we are saying this after the game against Ivory Coast. I don't think that game should worry them, because it was a very good showing. Of course, the group only gets harder with Germany, but they almost beat Ivory Coast. They had 2 balls in the woodwork. But I just really like this team. I think Moisés Caicedo is one of the best midfielders in the world. He's extremely good physically, tactically. I remember a game of Flamengo in Independiente del Valle, which, by the way, Independiente del Valle, they carry this Ecuador team. When you look at this team and if you look where they come from, I would think half of them come from Independiente. They have an amazing youth program. And he destroyed us at 19 years old. He destroyed Flamengo. He dominated the game. They beat us 3-1, I think, in Maracanã. It was unreal. And they also have Kendry Paes. I don't know if you know much about Kendry Paes. Chelsea bought him when he was 16 years old. And he took 2 years to actually arrive in Chelsea. And as soon as he did, he just started partying and going to nightclubs in London. And he was shipped to River Plate from Argentina, where he is now. And I think that's the biggest problem in Ecuadorian players. All of them are very night-heavy kind of guys. They love to drink, they love to party. And I don't know, I think they're also a team that's gonna, especially after this game against Ivory Coast, they're gonna be thankful that a third place team goes through. And they will have to beat the breaks out of Curaçao to get a good goal average to go through with someone also on 3 points. Because I don't see them beating Germany. I think a draw will be an amazing result. I think their best chance of going through normally would be against Ivory Coast, but they lost. But I'm still a fan of this team.
One last thing I want to say about them is, you spoke about Moisés Caicedo. I think the problem sometimes with Moisés Caicedo, in some games he can become a bit scratchy, Technically his level will drop. And I think that's when his technical level is like crisp and sharp, he's the best midfielder in the world, bar none. He's the best. He's better than Rice, and he's better than Pedri just because of his defensive contribution. The problem is his technical consistency, I think, is a bit low.
And he also, I think he can get a dumb red card in the 5th minute against Germany and completely throw their chances.
Yes.
That's a very reasonable thing to, not reasonable from the point of view of Ecuador, but probable.
Yeah.
A very probable thing to happen. And it just eliminates any chance of Ecuador doing anything. And Becachese, I'm very high on him as a coach. He managed Defensa y Justicia. He won Defensa y Justicia, the Sul-Americana, which was probably the biggest title. Defensa y Justicia is not a big team in Argentina. And he has very good jobs. He was São Paulo assistant. He had a great job at Racing. and he went to Elche, which I didn't follow, to be honest. And now in Ecuador, I think he can do a good job. Again, we are talking about this after the game against Ivory Coast, and again, that loss was disappointing, but I still don't think the World Cup is over. They can do something.
Assistant Argentina coach. He coached the under-20s for Argentina. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as you said, Defensa, and then Independiente and Racing Club. Yeah, he's a good coach. He's a good coach. He sets them up pretty well. They had a lot of draws. They love a draw. Ecuador loves a draw.
They love a draw.
But yeah.
And sometimes, I don't think it's a team that loves a draw because they're very defensive. I think they love a draw because they only hope when Valencia is scoring. If he doesn't score, their best hope is a draw. So I think it's a team that loves a draw not by design, but because of their lack of capability up front, besides an event. As much as I love Plata, he cannot score a goal to save his life.
Okay. We can move on from Ecuador. I had them as my dark horse. I think I should remove them.
Okay.
No! Okay, fine. They still remain as one of my dark horses. We can move on though. Colombia. Again, I think Colombia. Colombia, I'll start off by saying why I like them. I love James Rodriguez. That is the truth. I've loved him before the 2014 World Cup. It's not even a football hipster thing. He was popular before the World Cup. People think it's because of the World Cup. No, he was popular before the World Cup. And that World Cup just moved him.
At Porto.
Yeah, at Porto. Yeah.
He was at Porto.
Yeah. The World Cup, like, if you watched football, you knew James Rodriguez. Like, that just the goal obviously moved him up. But I've always loved his technique and the way he plays. And again, he's the type of player in international tournaments. Maybe the speed of the game isn't as fast. The speed of the game isn't as fast as other, more competitive leagues. He can do something on the ball, similar to Odegaard. I think he's physically behind Odegaard, honestly, even as injured as Odegaard is. James is so bad physically now. I remember when he came to Rayan, it was crazy, by the way. He's not the biggest. He's not the biggest thing in this team. The biggest thing in this team.
I've never seen a bigger gap in performance between club and national team, tipped to the national team, than James Rodriguez. James Rodriguez, he played recently at São Paulo. He just didn't want to be there. He was lazy, he didn't run, he didn't do anything. And then he went to Colombia to play the qualifiers. And it was a different guy. He was sending his twin brother to play for Sao Paulo while he was in Colombia waiting for the qualifiers. And especially now, which it's obviously his last World Cup, I think we're going to see something out of James. It's going to be unreal.
The main reason this team is good is honestly Luis Diaz, who is, you could say he's a world-class player in his position. Luis Diaz, incredibly dangerous when he gets into he's such a pest. He's always on the defender's toes, essentially. He's a really good finisher. He's a bit two-footed. He's not extremely two-footed, but he's just good with either foot. And he's got that dog in him. Honestly, that's the way he plays. I really like him. I like John Arias on the other side. Yes.
John Arias.
Palmeiras.
Amazing player. I was so mad he came back to Palmeiras.
Palmeiras, exactly.
He was unreal for Fluminense. Especially in the Club World Cup. I think that would guarantee his move to the Premier League. There are already talks about his performance there. Fluminense went to, I think, the semifinals. And they lost to PSG, I think. He's unreal, very good tactically, very good physically, even though he's kind of short. I don't see a hole in Colombia's squad in their starting 11. I don't think there's a position where you think, oh, this guy is terrible, why the rest of the team is good. I think they're great all around.
I think the only position maybe is left back, Johan Mojica. I think he might be a bit like, if I can imagine a team, what would you attack in this team? I think you'd attack through the Luis Diaz side, because he's most of the time he's going to be going there, and Johan Mojica, you can get at him. He's 33 years old, playing at Mallorca. He's not a bad player, but you can get at him is what I'd like to say. In midfield, they have a good their centre back partnership, Willard Ditta, who is I remember his name for so many years now, and another guy we've seen his name for a really long time, Davinson Sanchez. Again, it's a bit of a theme, the difference in performing for your club and Colombia. Davinson Sanchez, when he played for Spurs, the performances he's put in for Colombia were so much better than those he put in for Spurs. I think he was pretty good for Galatasaray this season. I haven't been following it.
He's a very good player.
He's a good player. He's 29. Insane, by the way. Insane that he's 29. That doesn't make sense. Another guy.
And they have Arsenal legend David Ospina as their backup. Should be the backup goalkeeper.
Yeah. Horrific little goalkeeper. But they. Yeah. Is it Camilo Vargas who's going to start?
He started most of qualifying. They're the same age. Ospina and Vargas are the same.
Yeah.
Generation.
Yeah. Munoz down the right. Munoz had a really good campaign for Crystal Palace.
Very good player.
He's more of a wing back in general and the way he plays, but it's fine. He's really good at right back as well. In the midfield, Jefferson Lerma and Gustavo Puerta.
Richard Rios.
Oh, Richard Rios.
Did Richard Rios start most of the...
Oh, yeah. Richard Rios. Yeah. Rios. Also, Puerta is a good option as well. But yeah, Richard Rios is ahead of him. Richard Rios is a really good player. He's so good.
Very good.
He's so good. Really good physically. He
was discovered by Flamengo. He came to Brazil to play a futsal competition, and Flamengo signed him. Never played a senior game for Flamengo. Went to another team and then went to Palmeiras and blew up in Palmeiras, and it's now in Benfica. Amazing.
He went to
amazing.
He went to Guarani.
Guarani.
He went to Guarani. And
he's also from São Paulo and then went to Palmeiras.
Yeah, and then he went to Palmeiras. And the level he's playing at in Benfica is really, really good. He
On a
gets...
side note, they also have Carrascal, who is on his way out of Flamengo, hopefully. So I really hope he has an amazing World Cup, so maybe some team in Europe overpays for him. So please, Carrascal, do your best this World Cup. And I think Colombia, they have a big history of players that are not that good for their club, but when they come to the national team, it's suddenly like they want to play, they want to do well, they want to. So I think it's a very, very good team. They are just being extremely inconsistent during the qualifying.
Yeah,
and I think that was disappointing. I think they all have time to be inconsistent.
I think you were a bit too gracious with them at the 12. But what I want to say is the last point I wanted to talk about them is Luis Suarez, who scored a lot of goals. Unfortunately, those goals were in the Portuguese league. You know?
Yeah.
So
it's half a goal.
Yeah, half a goal, exactly. So half a goal, that's going to put his goals tally to 19, I think. No, I can't do it.
That's good.
No, 14.
Wait, he scored 38 goals? He
scored 14 goals. Yeah.
Okay.
And
14 real goals, 28 Portuguese league goals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, 14 real goals actually sounds right about Luis Suarez. And every time I watch him play, he's not bad. He's good. Again, 185 centimeters. I feel like that's the perfect height for an attacker. He's a good attacker, I think.
Yeah, it should be an easy group too. They should be Congo, they should be Uzbekistan.
I don't know about Congo, honestly. I just don't know. Because they're a defensive team. They're just a defensive team. That's why I don't know. Cape Verde just drew with Spain. The only reason I don't know is because Congo is a defensive team.
Yeah, Cape Verde drew Spain. Anyone can draw anyone.
I don't think the gap in technical ability in attacking there's a huge gap attacking, but in defense it's a bit close. However, I think we can move on from Colombia.
Okay.
Senegal. You had them at 23. You had Ecuador, Colombia. Who else above Senegal? This one was the craziest one. When I was looking at the rankings, it's like, how many teams does he have above Senegal? I even put a thing on the left to see like the difference in scores we had.
Listen, if they had won AFCON, I would rate them higher, but since they lost AFCON...
They won AFCON! Oh, that's still...
They lost AFCON.
Oh, that's still a thing. I'm pretty sure that's not a thing. But this team is really good. I think they're the best African team after Morocco in terms of players in the World Cup. The way they play football as well, I think they play it really good. That the final, we have to eventually maybe we make an episode just to talk about the crazy stuff that happened in that final, like what happened in Senegal against Morocco, because it was such an insane game. Apart from the game, the players, defense. Mamadou Sarr, Koulibaly, Kripin Diatta, Antoine Mendy, really good defense. They play really well as well. Midfield, Pathé Sarr, Rayo Vallecano, he's on the bench. But you have Pape Sarr, who's really good. Ismaïla Sarr, who plays more as an advanced 8. He's a 10. He's a winger as well. He's very versatile as well. You have Habib Diarra, who had an amazing campaign for Sunderland. And then you have the elder statesman in the team, 36 years old, Idrissa Gana Gueye. Again, sometimes the technical ability is low, but he's so experienced, he helps the team. Moving on to the attack, the reason I like this team so much is Iliman Ndiaye. Iliman Ndiaye is such a good player. He dribbles past a lot of players. He has a problem with his finishing, but the way I kind of formulated it in my head, Iliman Ndiaye goes by players and he can create that space for Mane to be the finisher of the team. And Mane still, at this age, Mane is still a really good finisher at 34 years old. Not that old, but he's a really good finisher. And he's the talisman of the team. We saw it at AFCON, the way he asked the players to come back on. He's a great player. Again, in World Cup, the physicality goes down, the athleticism and physicality goes a bit down. So where Sadio Mane actually is quite fast and incisive. Again, the way they play, they just play super aggressive. They get on the front foot. They're good tactically. They're good technically. They're all tall. A lot of them are tall. I just think they're a very, very good team.
Yeah, they should be higher. They should be higher in my list. Looking at their team more calmly now, I'm not a fan of Nicholas Jackson. I don't rate him highly. I just think
but he scores goals. That's
Darwin Núñez. He's just Darwin Núñez. But yeah, maybe the only hole I see in this team is defense. A little bit, but yeah, this is a very good team.
The game against France is going to be huge. I think it's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge.
It's probably the best group stage game. I think it is. Maybe Morocco, Brazil.
On paper?
Yeah, on paper.
Yeah, I was going to say Morocco, Brazil.
Yeah, but that game kind of.
One of my oldest World Cup memories is probably France and Senegal in 2002, where Senegal beat France. France, I think, went out in group stage that World Cup. They're defending the title. And they beat them, I think, 3-0. It was an amazing game, and I think It's one of the games that made me love football was the Senegal France 2000. It was the opening game of the World Cup because at that time it wasn't the host country, it was the current champion. That was the first team in Group A that was on the draw, and it was the open of the World Cup, and Senegal just demolished. So yeah, I think this would be, thinking clearly now, I think this would be my dark horse for the World Cup. I mean, this is the Senegal side. I think they could be the best finish. There was also in 2002. It was 1-0. Bouba Diop scored the goal for Senegal.
Speaking about the thing you mentioned about goalkeepers, Edouard Mendy, he's a good goalkeeper. He has a deficiency, a bad deficiency for a World Cup team. He's not that great at penalties. Brahim Diaz didn't get the memo.
Don't ask Brahim Diaz.
Brahim Diaz didn't get the memo that the only type of penalty that Edouard Mendy usually catches is the Panenka, because he doesn't get fooled by the Panenka because he usually doesn't move, you know. So, but other than
I think there could be a whole episode about that final, and the choice of doing a Panenka after the whole thing is one of the choices of all time by Brahim Diaz.
Speaking about the defensive thing, I think they just they have the physical capabilities of defending well. So a lot of the time, you look at the defender on his own and you're like, maybe he's not that good, maybe this guy's a bit. As a unit, they get it done. One last thing I want to say about Pape Thiaw, their manager. Maybe a bit of a weak point. I didn't like at all the way he handled AFCON. In the moment, I was like, get out. In the moment, obviously, because I'm just supporting. But when you look at it clearly, it's just horrible for your manager to actually tell your players to get out. Yeah. And then the real manager is Sadio Mane.
I think the correct decision should have been ended the game as soon as most of Senegal players left. I think Morocco winning that title is what should have happened.
The correct decision is for the referee to have actually done the thing.
I think the biggest mistake is the referee not ending the game right there. As soon as the game came back, Senegal's a champion.
Okay, we disagree.
I think he should have ended the game.
So we disagree on this, but let's keep that for another.
Okay. Yeah, that's a whole.
Yeah.
Subscribe down below if you want to see the discussion about the AFCON final.
Exactly. Let's move on from Senegal. They were also my dark horse.
Your dark horse? Okay.
That's my third dark horse, I believe. I think my final dark horse as well. To Morocco.
Oh, wow.
Which, if you thought Senegal was funny, if you thought Senegal being underrated was funny, Raphael had them at 28th. I had them at 7th. Coming into the World Cup, Morocco, obviously a really, really strange showing in the final. It's hard to get around it. That AFCON itself was super, super straining. You can tell. There were good results, but you can tell the team was under so much pressure, and the evidence of that was Sabri Lamouche leaving his post a month before, I think, or a few months before the World Cup, and Mohamed Ouahabi taking over. I think he's Belgian Moroccan. He cited the fact that there was intense pressure and that he just needed a change. Again, squad-wise, an amazing squad. Ashraf Hakimi, Bono in goal, Brahim Diaz, Ayoub Bouadi. And I didn't add Ayoub Bouadi now. I always had him on because he had such a great. I mean, it's not even that strange of a shout. He's been linked to Premier League teams. He's been linked to PSG. He's been linked to Arsenal. He's been linked to Arsenal for a really long time. He had a really good campaign for Lille, and Unfortunate, obviously, Naif Agard is injured. I don't think he's gonna play, or he's just not. He probably won't feature. But in general, Issa Diop, Mazraoui, Hakimi, Unahi, Saibari, who scored against Brazil. He's probably like the bit where I'm a bit apprehensive with Morocco, like the striker. Obviously, they used to have Sevilla striker
in the city.
Yeah, in the city, and before in the city in Afcon, Ayoub El Kaabi, he scored a bit of goals, but I think he'd play with Saibiri because Saibiri has a really good technical floor, and he's also fast and clinical. I don't like his attitude. It's very European. I think he's Dutch. He grew up in the Netherlands, I think. But yeah, they're just a really good team. And Morocco's dominance is not just at the top men's level. They have at several levels. They are dominating, really. They recently won the World Cup at which level is it? Under 20s, or is it? I forgot which.
I think their king has been investing a lot in football in Morocco, right? He created a special training center for youth teams, for youth players, and they have two massive clubs in Raja Casablanca and
Wydad. Yeah.
Wydad. There's massive clubs, massive following. I follow a lot of pages of fan bases, and one of my biggest dreams football-wise is going to a game in Morocco. I think the reason I rated them so lowly is one, because I'm dumb, and two, I also don't really like their defense. Besides Hakimi and Mazraoui, I don't like their center-back pairings. Issa Diop didn't inspire me with a lot of confidence. Shadi Riyad also didn't really inspire me that much. I didn't know about Bouabi. I think he had an amazing game. And getting our World Cup first game against Brazil and playing so well is such a huge sign for him and what he can do. And in that game, it pissed me off that Carlo Ancelotti didn't trust Hendrick when you could see Morocco trusting Bouabi. They're the same age. And also, I think losing the previous manager, which I think was a huge part of why they got to the semifinals in 2022. I think tactically that Morocco team was unreal. I think for me, now brought them down a little bit. I didn't know about Wabi, and it was obviously a mistake. They should be higher. That game against Brazil was very good in the beginning, but Brazil took control of the game. Brazil just wasn't clinical. But yeah, this is a good team. I'm curious how they'll play against Scotland, because teams always overperform against when they are underdogs, when they have more hunger, more desire to show that they can keep up with Brazil. So I think that game against Scotland will be really massive to see who's the real Morocco in this World Cup.
Bilal Al Khanous is also another really good player for Morocco. He had a really decent campaign for Stuttgart, 4 goals, 5 assists. He had a pretty decent game as well against Brazil. Yeah, Onahi, I already mentioned him. Onahi was really good in 2022, and I think he's going to have another really good campaign. He plays his football at in La Liga with Girona. Yeah, they're just really good. My final thing about the defending, I think they're good, honestly. Issa Diop and Riyad, with Bono behind them, and the midfield.
Bono's very good. Bono's very good.
You can't look at the defending as just the center backs. It's the team. Morocco just are a really good unit. They never look desperate. Like they never look different. I mean, all the parts are near each other. They're very compact in the way they play. And that's why they've been so successful these past years. Another thing you said, not trusting Endrick. Morocco has a really good football basis now. They trust their young players. Obviously, under 20 World Cup winning, but it's not just winning the under 20 World Cup. In a lot of the levels, they're just performing really, really highly. So that's why I have.
Yeah, when you look at this team, this is a good mix of experienced players and young players. They have Yassini, who's 20 years old, El Mourabet, who's 20, Bouadi, who's 18, El Nanoui, who's 24, Brahim Diaz is 26, who should be reaching his prime. If they have Taubi, who's 21, they have a very good mix of older players like Bono and Anrabat, who I don't expect will play much in this World Cup. It was amazing 2022, by the way. That was one of the best World Cups I've seen defensive midfielder play.
Remember how United fans were twerking for him?
I remember. He was mad he couldn't leave. I think Fiorentina at the time. Yeah. He was mad. But that's his level. That's his real level is Fiorentina.
They didn't watch a single game of him before the World Cup. He was really bad, like normal for Fiorentina. And then
the World Cup transforms player, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the best tournament in the world. You'll see Vozinha from Cape Verde, he'll get a move after this World Cup. Especially after that game against Spain.
Isn't he like 35? I don't know.
He's 40.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's gonna go to Real Madrid. Yeah.
He should. Courtois, watch out.
I didn't have Morocco as a dark horse because I just think that, again, I can see them in the semi-final. You know, that's
again.
Yeah, I can see them reach the semi-final. I honestly can. Because I think they can score goals against the good teams, and they're good. They have a good midfield, and they're so compact that they're not gonna concede a lot of goals.
That second half against Brazil worries me. I think that second half,
I think
Brazil should have came back.
Yeah, but
Brazil should have won.
Yeah, but Brazil played cautiously, even though they controlled the game. They were just cautious. And both teams were cautious. They're like, it's the group stage. Like, you play it smartly. This is a better team. Just, you don't need to, in a knockout game, things can be different because you're going to need to take chances. But in a situation like that, taking a point off Brazil, and you're going to beat, Haiti, and you're going to have a good showing against Scotland. So you take what you got.
They played very well against Scotland. I was very surprised.
They did.
They could have drawn that game as well.
Yeah. I think we're moving on from Morocco.